Alright, so today I was listening to Run the Jewels' latest album, which is Run the Jewels 3. I've been listening to the album since the day it came out, but today I thought I should talk about Run the Jewels a little bit because I was searching a lot about them from the past 2 3 days. About LP and Killer Mike and how they started and all of that. So, in my opinion, I have not seen an artist who is more underrated than Killer Mike and LP. Mainly LP. LP has the work that proves his god status. Like his production value and the way he raps and his rhymes and his flows and his lyrics, my god. On Run the Jewels 3, he showcased all of his ability, like his lyricism, his flows, his beats, everything was at all time high. And in my opinion, now that I have lived with the album for more than a year, I think Run the Jewels 3 is one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time, and it is very high. It is very high. What I never understood is the fact that LP never got the shine or the popularity he should have gained earlier in his career. And even now, not a lot of people know about LP. Hell, I was even surprised to know that people don't know that the Run the Jewels, all three of them are actually produced by LP, which was funny to me. And on the first two Run the Jewels, even though I think LP did a very great job, people thought that Killer Mike just smoked LP on both of those albums. But on Run the Jewels 3, in my opinion, Killer Mike is Killer Mike. You know, he will he in my opinion cannot drop a whack verse. But LP in my opinion outshined Killer Mike on Run the Jewels 3. Part of the reason why LP is so underrated is maybe because he was never signed to a major label. When he released his debut project in 2001, Wikipedia says that it debuted at 198, and I don't kind of believe that because very like a lot of publications, big publications of that time, Pitchfork and publications like that, actually had LP's debut album at a very high position in album of the decade, not in album of the year, album of the decade. This is the same decade where Eminem released several albums. 50 Cent, his prime, two albums, 1 million both. Lil Wayne was very hot at that time as well. Who else? Ti. All of Atlanta rappers. Jeezy. He dropped his classic debut album. Ti was very poppin', and Gucci Mane was around too. There were a lot of rappers that were doing really good at that time, and still LP managed to make the list on the publication. Those publications don't, in my opinion, they don't, promote underground rap that much. They cater to the mainstream rappers. They will not attract readers if they don't put commercial big artists on their lists. But that being said, he was the creator of The Weatherman and The Definitive Jerks, his label. It did very well, and he has been a driving force from the last 2 decades. No one can deny that. And the kind of producer he is still amazes me. Like, in my opinion, I know this is, a little outlandish, or maybe not a lot of people will say, well, I don't think anyone would say this, but LP has the potential to be one of the greatest, if not the greatest, producer slash rapper of all time. I'm talking specifically of producer slash rappers, and there are not a lot of people at a mainstream level who actually do who actually produce and rap. Uh, Kanye West, Dr. Dre. But the thing with these two people is Kanye, people wrote for Kanye West. Yeah, he is a genius. He knows where to put where and how to execute the albums. And I'm not taking anything away from Kanye West. but I've never heard that someone wrote raps or rhymes for LP. That being said, in my opinion, Kanye doesn't switch up his flow that much. Kanye doesn't have a, you know, he doesn't have those double entendres and very complex lyrics or something like. Whereas LP throughout his career has showed us how well he can rap. On Run the Jewels 3, I cannot stress this enough. On Run the Jewels 3, I think this is Run the Jewels 3 was the best album of 2016 and 17. And I'm sorry, I know 2017 there were some great albums. Sci-Hi released, Big Crit released, Eminem released. There were a lot of good albums, rap albums in general. But still, Run the Jewels 3, you go listen to that album. I swear to God, every time I listen to that album in its entirety, I'm never bored. I'm never bored. Even the songs where they slow it down, you can see how creative they can be with their lyrics, with their flows, with like I can't remember the last time I heard LP or Killer Mike offbeat. Like I listened to all three of these series, and I haven't noticed even one time that Killer Mike was offbeat. LP produced the beats himself, so he does know kind of how to flow on the beats. But maybe it is kind of hard for Killer Mike to flow on the beats. And I know y'all might say that they are a duo, so they might help each other and this and that. But the thing is, their flow never sounds the same. Killer Mike always comes up with a new flow. Like on Run the Jewels 3, he experiments with so many new flows. The Myco Psycho line, that flow was great. The triple syllabic, I think you call it, the Thailand Island line, that was great. Like there were a lot of highlights, and these are not the type of lyrics that you don't understand. When you sit around with the album for a while and you listen it with concentration, you can actually understand a lot of shit they're saying. And the 13th track, or the second last track on the album, where LP is talking about his friend who died, who was part of the Weatherman group, and Killer Mike was talking about a street dude that maybe was his friend because he knew his fiance or his baby mama. But that song was so great. It was it was phenomenal. The emotions in that song, I swear, every time I play that song, I don't play it once or twice. I at least play it 4 5 times. And whenever I play the album in its entirety, when it comes to that song, I kind of feel that it shouldn't be there. I d- by that I mean like it slows down the whole mood and thing. Let me put this in context. It starts with Down, which is a good song. It is not slow, it is not fast. It is a mid-tempo song. So after that, Talk to Me, banger, Call Tickerton, banger, Hey Kids, and Legend Has It, and these songs, all of these songs are bangers. 2100 featuring Boots, yeah, that's a cool song. Yeah, it is not sad, nor is it hype. It is a good song. But track 13, I swear to God, it hits my heart every time I listen to that song. The way the way they tell this story is amazing. The words and the way they're actually saying those things, and how Killer Mike ended that verse by saying that a person got killed for a chain, and the story he explained was mad emotional. So that being said, I think y'all should stop sleeping on Run the Jewels and Run the Jewels 3. I can't see anyone, and I say anyone, disliking this album. If you are disliking this album, I don't know what is up with you. Either you have not listened to this album or something is wrong, but I think, and plus, I think, you know, this is a very unpopular opinion as well. Again, but LP might be one of the greatest rappers of all time. and very high. Killer Mike is already there. Killer Mike is already there. Killer Mike has released more than like 5 6 albums. Killer Mike is already there, but LP people underrate. But nah, man, LP is one of the greatest rappers of all time. The talent that man has and how he executed his career throughout, you know, the Weatherman, the Definitive Jokes, the label, everything was executed flawlessly. And even with Run the Jewels, like Run the Jewel 1, it didn't make that waves. Run the Jewel 2 made an impact. Run the Jewels 3 made a major impact. A lot of people started to acknowledge Run the Jewels. Like when the Run the Jewels actually reached number one on the R&B, hip hop slash R&B charts, that is big. That is very big for an independent rap group. That is very big. And after that album, I think they are destined to do even bigger numbers if they package the album correctly, if they promote the album and all of that, if they put some money behind that album, I think it can make double or triple of the money back. So, in my opinion, LP and Killer Mike are one of the most underrated rappers of all time. Of all time. And the duo itself is very underrated as well. When we think of duos, who do we think of? Outkast, Mobb Deep, and others. I think Run the Jewels deserves to be there, even though they have only released 3 albums, but still, like the quality of music, they outdid themselves. They outdid themselves on every project. On every project. Run the Jewels 3 was so phenomenal and, of course, is the best in the series. I highly recommend y'all go check it out. It is also available on YouTube, so you don't need to buy the album if you don't want to, or if you don't have a streaming service package or subscription. You can listen to it on YouTube on the official page. But if anyone is listening to this video and you have not checked out their album, please do check out that album. I'm not paid to say this. I actually appreciate their music very much in this era where a lot of people are just listening to the songs for the beats and the catchiness. Go listen to Run the Jewels. They're saying a lot of stuff in their songs, and the stuff that the lyrics are accompanied with bars, hard bars, and that is accompanied by flawless, like the best production you will ever hear. So I suggest you go check them out, and thank you very much for watching, and have a great day.